Paola, technology has the power to both bring people together and to make us feel somewhat disconnected. What role does design play in helping to bridge that gap, if you will?
Well, see, maybe because I'm so embedded in design and maybe because I believe in design so much, I always feel the former part, technology makes people come together, and not the latter part of feeling disconnected. So I think that that's what design does. Once you embrace it, it's almost like a strange religion. But what designers do best is to take innovations, even disruptive ones of any kind, new technologies, things that we're not used to, and they make them become part of our lives in a seamless way, in a natural way. The most classical example is the internet. When the internet was born, it was all lines of code. So you had like a dark green screen, and then you had the light green letters, and in order to connect with other people, you had to be a programmer. And then the first designer of the Mosaic interface, he was Mark Andreessen, came and he created an interface with windows and buttons and hyperlinks, and all of a sudden you and I and my grandmother could use the internet. So that's what I'm talking about. Designers make us comfortable with innovation and with progress, and therefore they try to have a benign effect also on the technology that so many people are scared of.
Thank you, Paola. That often reminds me of the stories we often hear of grandchildren teaching their grandparents how to interact with the latest technology. And it seems that there's a role for designers who are making devices and technology more intuitive and less technological.
Well, it's still technological. It's just the interface that they're working on. So machines or programs have their own inner workings, and then they have faces, membranes, face between you and me that they use to communicate with people. So you don't have really to simplify the program. The program is extremely complex, the software and the working of the computer. What you try to make more intuitive, more human, more analog is the interface. So for instance, the first graphic user interface for computers, which then became the interface of the Macintosh computer, was invented in 1981 at Xerox PARC. And it was intuitive and metaphorical because it presented you with a desktop with files and folders and a calculator and a trash bin. So that's what we're talking about, mimicking the real physical world into a virtual world or a digital world so that we can feel comfortable. But you realize that the more we go on, the more these kind of metaphors will not be necessary, because people will be able to live in the digital world without needing to bring with them the remnants or the reminders of the physical one, which is what happens with so many. You were talking about the grandsons and granddaughters that are teaching the grandparents. That's it. They're so comfortable in their digital world.
Yeah. I often have this theory that the internet will become like electricity eventually, and perhaps we won't even think about it. It will just be there the way we turn on a light, and it should just be there.
Absolutely. Every designer's ambition is to make technology disappear. So you use it, but you don't even feel that it's there.
With so much of our lives facilitated through our interactions with products, what role do you think brand might play in helping to facilitate those?
It is interesting because it's so hard to be a brand these days. It's hard being green, and it's hard being a brand. Because I feel that there was a moment in which brands knew what they were, and it was almost like a science, right? So you had these big manuals of instructions on how to apply the brand in every different instance, how many inches and feet, etc. And now instead, you cannot control the platform anymore. The moment of communication of the brand and of publicity can happen in a totally uncontrolled manner anywhere, and sometimes it would be better if it didn't happen. There are so many brands that have been diluted by excessive enthusiasm by their fans. So it's so complicated that it's better to try to bring the brand back to being a personality or a character, which is interestingly what happened at the very beginning of branding design. If you go back to Bibendum and Michelin, and then also Carosello, which was this kind of episodic commercial break at 8:30 in Italy in the 60s and 70s with different episodes every night. So I think that there are many different ways to go, but the brands that are most successful are the ones that are able to stand alone like human beings in any kind of situation. It's hard to make examples here, but I'm sure you can bring them up yourself. But so brands are almost like dissolved in the identity of the objects that what they can communicate by themselves.
Paola, thank you so much for spending time with us today, and we look forward to the exhibit this summer at the Museum of Modern Art here in New York City. Thank you so much.